What's up?
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This
Hope Bart's tuning in. I got a big announcement.
world burn away, we feel betrayed. We were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Oh, I didn't get it stopped in time. Look out. Jeez. I'm over here messing up like an amateur.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most
Very
intrigued
intrigued.
in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, gentlemen and gentle ladies. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I saw some updates from. First, let's start here. Okay. I found this clip, and I'll warn you, this is an older video. It's like from like a year ago. During this podcast, and it's about Republicans in Idaho. I thought it was an SNL skit. I thought it was a skit, dude. I thought it was an SNL skit. That's how crazy this shit's get. It's getting weird where you can't tell parody from real life. This is like northern Idaho too, which is apparently like, pretty fucking red, and has some deep ties to like racism and shit. But check this out.
9609. Of course, you can absolutely email us. I doubt it at dollamore.com.
So we are going to end the show by having a lot of fun because I
love fun.
I came across this ad from, and you may have to help me with the pronunciation here, Kootenai County?
Kootenai. It's Kootenai County,
Kootenai.
Idaho, which
Yes.
is where Coeur d'Alene, it's up north.
I think the podcast name is called I Doubt It.
It's adjacent to the border where like Spokane, Washington is. Kootenai.
Yes. And so North Idaho, where there is a lot of white supremacist, white power
Yep.
activity. And
It's where Aryan Nation, used to be
yeah,
in Idaho.
Hayden Lake
Yeah,
is where it used to be.
still steeped in radical.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure that Trump didn't make that video, but he fucking loves sharing shit like that. He shared so much fucking ridiculous fake shit. The Gaza video.
It's where a lot of people who are separatists and militia types.
It used to be the headquarters of the Aryan Nation. Like if they ever had an official headquarters, that was it. And there's a lot of malicious like separatists, people that think that they're gonna like basically take a piece of land and declare themselves separate from the United States and whatever. There's a lot of people that live in that area.
Are moving in droves right now to Kootenai County in northern Idaho to what's called the Redoubt. It's a bizarre thing that's happening there.
Yeah, so the Kootenai County Republican organization decided to create this ad because there's been an ongoing attack on libraries, community
Phil doesn't do anything. I don't know. He just cancels his show. He doesn't do anything.
library board elections.
Yeah.
And so they created this ad. This is from May, but I was watching a news package, I think from MSNBC, and they played part of this ad, and I swear, I almost did a spit take. Like I was drinking my coffee.
I think
Where do you see this ad?
too.
I almost did a spit take because it was so absurd. So this is an ad that they put out to basically show people that their young children are at risk of being exposed to sexually explicit material in libraries.
So this is an ad that was supposed to be about, hey, we need to ban books in the library. It says our library trustees have failed to protect minors from harmful media and reading material.
Hi, Mom. I'm home.
Hi, honey. I'm in the kitchen. How are you today? How was school?
We went to the library today, and there's a special room for kids. And this funny lady, she read us a book, and she showed us all the pictures in the book. The lady gave me a hug, but I could feel her face was really scratchy, like Dad's face.
Oh.
So the kid's supposed to be insinuating that it was a man, not a lady, right? And that her face was really scratchy like Daddy's face. The lady gave me a hug. And it sounds like an adult doing a kid's voice. It's very weird.
Oh, what was the book about?
Oh, it was about moms and dads and their kids and stuff doing things like kissing each other, and some of them didn't have any clothes on.
Oh, my.
Kissing each other and some of them didn't have any clothes on? You can tell it's about to get bad because we just zoomed in on the plate she was been washing for 10 minutes.
Mommy,
Yes, honey.
what's anal sex?
Drop the dick.
Mommy? Yes, darling. What's anal sex?
The plate breaks.
Our library boards have allowed for adult materials to be displayed in the children's sections.
What a wild podcast. I know you know the guy from the podcast. That's that Dollamore or whatever his name is. He has a podcast. We watch some of his clips sometimes. He has a pretty successful podcast. So but that was the I Doubt It podcast with the other girl, whatever her name is, Stephanie, Brittany something. Anyways, I thought it was funny. I thought it was extremely funny. Then we had this going on. People are very mad that this man called Trump the grifter in chief. mad enough to call the Capitol Police on him, the sergeant in arms.
People like the grifter-in-chief Trump and President Musk are openly using their public offices to enrich themselves to the tune of billions of dollars. So if we want to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, which I'm down to do, why is there complete silence on the other side of the aisle about looking at the complete grifter that is the President of the United States and the richest man on the earth, which is looking into things like Social Security and different things like that? Why don't we investigate the real corruption?
Hold off. Point of order.
I reclaim my time.
Point of order. Mr. Chairman, hold off. Would you like to revise your remark with respect to
Would you like to revise your remark with respect to the president?
Improperly identifying the President of the United States?
I'll say President Musk and grifter-in-chief Trump.
All right.
I'll say something else.
We'll save a lot of time.
I'll say something else.
Okay, all right.
Northern Idaho and the Pacific Northwest is filled with white supremacists. I know you might call them Trump supporters now, but yet, like every time somebody goes there, they do a study there, it's full of white supremacists. I'm not saying you are just because you live there, but there are tons of those people there.
All right. We're going to let Chair recognize Mr. Frost. You still have 3:49. You're going to maybe revise the disparaging comment about the president because that's supposed to be our decorum here. And
they're making fucking compounds and shit there.
It is supposed to be. President Musk and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who is engaged in grifting of the American people, often use their public offices to enrich themselves. Someone on the other side was just asking, how would you feel if you called someone else from the
Hold off, Mr. Frost. Hold off. There's a pending motion for disparaging the president. So
a pending motion. You're not allowed to disparage the president. That's the rules here.
Motion was words taken down about disparaging the president. And the chair finds the words from the gentleman from Florida are not parliamentary because they constitute personalities toward the president, which if you sit in the House floor, that's always uttered by the presiding officer on the House floor. You cannot disparage the President of the United States. So,
Mr. Chairman, would you please read back to us the words that were disparaging? Because I didn't hear them.
If you're willing to request unanimous consent to withdraw the disparaging the comments about President Trump, I guess you can disparage Elon Musk if you want.
Okay.
I will withdraw.
Elon Musk, fair game.
I will say the president's grifting because you spent the last 2 years saying President
Take
Biden
down
was
his words.
I can say that Trump is grifting. What I will.
Yes, you can. He tries to retract. I shouldn't have said grifter in chief because that's like an official title thing, but I can say he's grifting.
Withdraw is calling him grifter in chief. That is what I will.
The chair sustains the point of order, and the words in question are ordered stricken from the transcript of this proceeding. So the member is barred from further participation.
I want to say it's despicable that this committee is going to silence me for bringing
The
up
gentleman's words have been taken down. He is not
Mr.
permitted to speak for the rest of the hearing.
Making millions of dollars.
Mr. Ranking Member, I'm going to have the Sergeant at Arms remove him if he doesn't refrain.
Threatened to have the Sergeant at Arms remove him. That's when he made his last little comment while he was getting up, and that was it. That's how that ended. I looked up a longer clip, but nothing really happens. They pretend like nothing happens, nothing was said. And then I've got a couple videos we need to check out from the Mr. Global.
An educational lesson on.
This is the first one.
Here's an educational lesson on who produces the most oil in the world. 2020.
All right. You know how, Trump plans to go through, I just saw he still plans to go through with tariffs on Mexico and Canada. He's going to talk about it in a second. Trump still believes that a trade deficit means something. Okay? Like if we buy more stuff from one country than they buy from us, like that's some type of indication that they should buy more stuff from us. But if you break it down by, first of all, it's almost all oil. Almost all of it's oil. Remember we talked about the Keystone XL, the extension of the Keystone Pipeline? That was to get Canada's oil an easier way to get that oil to a global market, right? To a global market. They wanted to bring it to the Gulf, and from the Gulf, sell it to basically China, right? China was in a boom then, sell it to China. Because that was shut down and stopped, they have to sell that oil that they were going to sell to a global market to us. Literally, when Canada's pitching the Keystone XL pipeline, they're not talking about being partners with America. They're not talking about selling it to America. They're saying we can finally open up to a global market. Now, if they only have one customer, basically right now, and then they go to 50 customers, what do you think the price of oil is going to do? You think it's going to go down? Obviously not. They were trying to get their oil to a global market, right? We get a good deal. The reason we buy most of a ton of oil from Canada is because we get such a good deal. We get such a good deal on it. It's amazing. If you took that out, the trade deficit is non-existent. I think we might even be positive. We'll look in a second. But then if you take even if you leave it in and take per capita, right? It's basically like every Canadian is buying $7,000 worth of shit, $7,000 or $8,000 worth of shit from us. And every American is buying like $1,000 worth of shit from Canada. Like, it's ridiculous to think that because we're in a trade deficit with that country, somehow they're getting one over on us. There's hardly any fucking people there. It's almost all oil that we buy from them.
Before that would be the United States of America at 12.9 million barrels per day. We don't need anybody else's oil. Keep your exports. We don't need it.
I've literally never seen anyone know less about a subject than this person. Even Bob knows a lot more about this than this guy. First of all, your production numbers are wrong. You can't even read what your AI is telling you. That was 2023 numbers. We produced 13.25 million barrels a day in 2024.
There's the top 10 for 2023. You see who's on top?
Inherently, just saying a trade deficit doesn't mean any fucking thing to us, other than we buy more from them than they buy from us. It's not an indication of any, without any other factors, it's not an indication of anything. It's not an indication of how healthy our relationship is. It's not an indication of them screwing us somehow. Trump is a child and doesn't understand anything.
Yeah, where's Canadians? Oh, number 4. Why do Canadians
Bye, Mike. See you, Joe.
think that they can destroy us by just not giving us oil?
I'll tell you why, Mr. Educator, Mr. Teacher, Mr. Know-it-all with your AI when you know nothing. You talk about Canada being number 4 as if it's a bad thing. Here's the unbelievable thing that you have no concept of. The United States imports more oil from Canada than 96% of oil-producing nations' production.
That includes like Iraq and fucking Iran, like countries that are obviously not on this list, but every other country. We buy more oil from Canada than 96% of the rest of the nations produce.
Do you understand what I just said? We get more oil from Canada than 96% of the countries on this planet produce. Do you understand that? We import more oil from Canada than every country in the world, except for these right here, produce. Do you understand that we import more oil from Canada than Iraq produces, than Iran produces, than Algeria produces, than Kazakhstan produces? Do you understand? Do you have any concept of what you're even saying?
being the teacher, I'll go ahead and teach you guys a history lesson, but we don't need anybody's oil. That's factual.
So his video says, "Hey, Canada, keep your oil."
All right. You said you're going to give us a history lesson, so let's hear the history lesson.
We refine it here just fine. Watch what happens to oil. I bet you the price of oil by the end of the year is going to come way down.
Nothing you just said was a history lesson. You said, let me give you a history lesson, and then you said...
Predicted something.
Oil's going to come down. That's in the future. You said you're going to give us a history lesson, and then you told us something that you think is going to happen in the future because you think that we're going to be producing over 20 million barrels of oil a day.
There's not enough infrastructure.
We don't have the capacity to produce 20 million barrels of oil a day. We would just have to shut all the wells in. Like, we don't have pipelines. We don't have what is required. You don't get to just produce something. You have to have a way to get it to the market. Do you understand? We cannot, under any realm of the imagination, produce 20 million barrels of oil. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. And why are you hating on Canadians? And why are you hating on federal employees? Do you just hate people because Donald Trump tells you to? Do you just hate people because Donald Trump comes out and runs his, cock holster? So you just automatically hate people? Yeah, I have never in my life seen anybody know less about a subject than you. Wow. Thanks.
He also does a response here, which we're going to be talking about trade deficit. He does a response to older millennial. I think it's this one.
You have to understand that our trade deficit with Canada is the worst it's been in.
Canada has like 40 million people, okay? We have like 340 million people. So do you think they're going to buy dollar for dollar the same amount of shit from us that we buy from them? Does that make sense? Imagine that Walmart gets mad at you because you buy groceries for your family. And they're like, why don't you buy as many groceries as the homeless shelter that houses 1,000 people down the street? There's a deficit. You've got to buy that much. What?
In decades. And that absolutely should not be the case. You have to understand that Canada is heavily reliant on the U.S. importing their goods for their economy to survive.
So actually, Donald Trump's OPEC 2020 deal is responsible.
I'm coming to around to believe that Donald Trump's OPEC deal is responsible for basically fucking everything. And I think it's crazy that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or somebody didn't call this shit out.
For increasing our trade deficit with Canada from 10 billion.
And he did it. Donald Trump, after he signed the OPEC deal, this is literally the start of the OPEC deal down here at the bottom and the end of the OPEC deal at the top. It aligns perfectly with the dates from the cut in production he did with OPEC. Our trade deficit was 10 billion and it drove it up to over 80 billion. Now it's like 63 or something.
$10 billion to $80 billion. This down here, this is the trade deficit. This down here, that's the beginning of the OPEC 2020 deal. Donald Trump's deal. This peak, that.
So if Donald Trump convinced OPEC to do a cut in production, millions of barrels of oil, and that caused us to buy more oil from Canada. This is when gas was like $5 a fucking gallon. And he still claims that OPEC deal was some type of 5D chess that was like one of his best negotiating moves he's ever had. What are you talking about?
That's the end of Donald Trump's OPEC 2020 deal. Since the OPEC 2020 deal has ended, our trade deficit...
I won't be on here long tonight. I got to get up early in the morning. We got a meeting in the morning.
...with Canada has fallen by, what, $25 billion? Let me show you.
Since the OPEC deal has ended, our trade deficit has fallen by $25 billion. Why? Because there's more oil on the market now.
Something. Let me show you a few things. Because this is yet another thing that Donald Trump is entirely responsible for and now completely pissed off about. Now, if you don't remember the OPEC 2020 deal, that's when Donald Trump got with OPEC and Russia.
Trump's biggest and most complex deal.
And they agreed.
Joe Biden, as soon as somebody said some shit about gas prices, Joe Biden and his PR team should have said, what about the OPEC deal? Why is no one talking about the OPEC deal? Donald Trump convinced OPEC to limit their production by billions of fucking barrels a day or millions of barrels a day and drove the price through the roof. We're still recovering from that. They're still taking out their anger over that deal where they didn't get what they were promised on us.
Agreed to a 2-year 10% production cut where they started off by taking 9.7 million barrels a day of oil off of the global market. This deal ended May the 1st of 2022. This is what happened during the deal with our trade deficit with Canada. This is what happened to our gas prices in the United States. Beginning of the OPEC 2020 deal, end of the OPEC 2020 deal, gas went from $2 to $5. This is what happened with inflation.
Dude, this right here should have been what they were running on. Kamala, fucking Biden, whoever was running, it doesn't matter. OPEC deal starts, inflation. Look at that. It's almost straight up and down, dude.
Beginning of the OPEC 2020 deal, end of the OPEC 2020 deal. This is what happened with Canadian oil prices. In the first year of the OPEC 2020 deal, they doubled. In the second year of the OPEC 2020 deal, they went up by another 50%.
So they went from 26.81 to 54.90. Then they went up again to 76.01. Then they started coming back down.
After they doubled. Our trade deficit with Canada is completely driven by oil imports and the price of those imports. If it wasn't for oil,
literally, it's almost all oil. It's almost all oil. What does he expect? What does he expect the 40 million people to buy from us, the 340 million people, to equal dollar for dollar trade? What the fuck are they going to buy? There's not enough people. Imagine if I said we're in a trade deficit with fucking Puerto Rico. What are they going to fucking buy?
For oil. If it wasn't for oil, the United States would actually have a $30 billion trade surplus with China.
Oh, so if it wasn't for us buying their oil at a reduced rate, again, we get it cheap there. It's not like buying oil from OPEC or at a refinery. We get it cheap there because they don't have a whole lot of options on who they're going to sell it to. We get a discount. If we didn't buy oil from them, we would have a $30 billion surplus in the trade deficit. They'd be buying more from us by $30 billion.
With Canada. And to give you a little more history on how oil prices impact U.S.-Canada trade deficit, you see that big drop right there? That's the Great Recession.
That's the 2008 housing market collapse.
That's the Great Recession. Our trade deficit dropped.
A lot of campers.
Bigly, right? And then you see this huge drop right here. That's the oil crash of 2014 through 2016. At the time, it was the largest oil crash in history. Both of these events had huge oil crashes. Both of these events resulted in our trade deficit with Canada dropping sharply. Huge increase in oil prices raises our trade deficit sharply.
Because it's almost all oil. So the price of oil is what determines how big that deficit / surplus is, because that's what we're buying from them. What do you expect them to buy from us to equal this amount? There's not enough people there to buy. It'd be different if it was like, if he said like per capita or some shit, which is still upside down, right? So per capita, per person, or per adult, I guess, they buy $8,000 worth of our shit, and we buy $1,000 worth of theirs. But we're so many more fucking people here.
Huge drop in oil prices lowers our trade deficit sharply. This is once again yet another thing that Donald Trump is entirely responsible for and doesn't even have enough sense.
I don't think he knows. I honestly don't think I think he rants about stuff that he thinks his base will be mad about too. But I don't think he knows that he's responsible for this.
To know it. He is literally responsible for this. Since his deal ended, the trade deficit with Canada has dropped by over
come down steadily.
$25 billion. And let's not forget that Donald Trump himself said that our trade agreements with Canada and Mexico were trash.
He wrote them.
They're his fucking agreements that he said was the greatest thing ever.
It would go down in history as the best deal ever written. And then he comes back 4 years later and says, those deals are trash. I don't know who wrote them. They're the worst.
Look, folks.
How can his own base say, oh, yeah, Trump signed, what about, that's their crown jewel, right? What about the North America trade deal that replaced NAFTA? Trump did that. Trump comes on the news and says we have the worst trade with Mexico and Canada. He doesn't know who wrote them, but they're horrible. You wrote them. You wrote the book.
Folks, education is elevation, right?
All right, let's see what else he's got. I haven't watched the rest of these.
So I heard a great quote today from someone. It appears that the American worker is the swamp, according to the Trump administration.
Uh-oh. Getting rid of the swamp. Drain the swamp.
Wow, it kind of, has a special ring. Just to paint a little bit of a picture about the savings that we're going to see if we cut 200,000 federal workers.
By the way, Bert deleted his video from last night, and he's declaring, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm not ashamed about it. He's going to remake it now. Bert's going to redo his whole video from last night. He's going to redo the whole thing, right? And do another live stream doing it, not even like a recorded one, because he was trying to share it to Facebook and accidentally deleted it.
Federal workers' jobs.
Might as well just send them to my link.
Average wage of federal worker in the United States, throw in their benefits, 200,000 people. And you contrast that with our expenditures every year. It's a savings of about 0.004%. Yeah. Now, I've been saying for a very long time that here in the United States, we need to do something about our budget. We need to drastically reduce our debt, and we need to do it quickly. We need to run a balanced budget. We're moving towards a place where eventually our interest payments will absolutely be higher than our total revenue we have coming in. That day is coming. I don't know when it's coming, but I'm telling you, it's coming.
I hate the argument like, I can't believe you guys are against fraud, waste, and abuse. You don't want an audit? No, I do want an audit. Let's do an audit. Step one, hire an auditor. Like a person that audits. When the goal is not actually to produce good cost-saving measures, but instead to get the most retweets on a post, you don't have a valid audit. You have a TV show going on, a reality TV show.
My biggest concern, I guess, is that the main thing that really created this massive debt is trickle-down economics. So we have decided in all of our ultimate intelligence.
More tax breaks.
Trickle-down economics on steroids to fix it. Yeah. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing.
So what got us into this mess was gigantic tax breaks for the wealthy, and that was supposed to trickle down slowly to the poor people so they got better wages and better jobs and shit like that. Didn't work. So now we're just going to do that 10 times over. Gigantic tax breaks for the wealthy, and hopefully they'll give it to the peasants.
I don't like the way we're going about doing this. There's no form.
Let them eat cake. That's right.
And then going back and begging them to come back later. That tells me we have no idea what these people contribute to our society, to our federal workforce.
There should not be, if this was a legitimate audit and whatever you want to call it, right? An venture to find waste, fraud, and abuse. There should not have been a single employee fired let go, terminated, whatever you want to call it, and then a scramble to hire them back. It should have been, yes, 100%, these people are just milking the dollar off. I'm sorry. I know it's painful, but they got to go. Nah, oh my shit. What the fuck? They control the keys to the nuclear stockpile? Yeah, let's get those guys back. I didn't know what they did. Did you?
There's 1,000 ways that getting rid of the wrong people can cost you more money than their salaries would have been in the first place. The things they prevent from happening. And with all that being said, you cannot deny the fact that we are in the bad place. We're in the place where we need to do something quickly regarding our debt. We're there. If we don't get this under control as quickly as possible, we'll never get it. And there's no certainty that we can get it even now. And we may be too far gone.
Yes, Trump is selling citizenships for $5 million. Got $5 million, automatic citizenship plus perks. He's literally turned us into a fucking social club.
Continue on the path we're on. What's going to happen eventually is we won't have enough revenue just to pay the interest on the debt, much less pay for anything else. And on the way to getting to that place, what will happen, and people don't want to hear this, but what will eventually happen on the way to that place is we will start cutting everything else because we won't be able to fund it. The interest payments on our debt will be higher than the amount of money we're bringing in. We'll completely default on our debt. So to avoid that, we'll be cutting everything. We'll be cutting Social Security. We'll be cutting Medicare and Medicaid. We'll be cutting defense. Everybody has something they love. No matter what it is, it's going to get cut eventually. It has to. There's no other way around it. And we're already seeing it today. They're talking about cutting almost $1 trillion from Medicaid.
I was watching a live stream the other day, and someone tried to come in and defend Elon Musk by saying, imagine you have $1 million to give to a charity, a medical charity, right? So to decide, you have a guy that decides, and to decide this, you have like the head researcher of like colon cancer, and the head researcher of breast cancer, and the head researcher of Alzheimer's, and the head researcher of childhood lung diseases, right? And they all come to a room, and you say, okay, you guys decide who deserves this $1 million for research. Well, of course, they're all going to pick and say me. Like, my shit's the most important. I researched this. It affects this many people. And the next guy's going to say, oh, me, because it's kids, right? And I researched these diseases. And so he's like, so you have to have a non-biased third party, which I agree with. But does anybody in the world think that Elon Musk is a non-biased? All he's done is show his bias since he teamed up with Trump. The people that he hates, the people that he wants to cut, the people that he doesn't believe in, the people that are too poor, the money going over, like, that's all he's done since he started. People that are investigating him.
What is the total cost of that to society? I don't know.
I hope it sucks what they're doing. I hope the courts eventually can clean it up. Congress can clean it up. He's well outside the bounds of power that is allotted to the executive branch. But and I know it sucks, but I hope he rides Elon Musk into the fucking dirt where everybody fucking hates him. That's the only way these people are going to see. Your Mima is going to have to lose her fucking Medicaid, and Social Security checks going to have to be cut. Groceries are going to have to spike. You're going to have to go to the whatever your favorite national park is this summer, and nobody's working there. You can't get in. The gate's locked, and they sold a piece of the land. Like, that's the only way I can see these people. If they can't see it now, right, it's going to have to affect them. It's going to have to affect them and their family.
I don't know.
Somebody said the other day that it's like, well, I don't have no part of those programs because I'm not lazy. And wait till it comes to the programs that you do have. We all have some type of government programs we interact with. Right? OSHA, fucking police departments, the highway system. Like, we all interact with something. Just because yours isn't Medicaid.
But I do know this. $4.5 trillion in tax cuts does not help move our budget towards being balanced in any way, shape, or form. That's a payoff to billionaires. I guess they just need a lot of money. That way they have something when everything collapses.
That I don't even know how you justify it. Like, we know this trickle-down shit doesn't work. That's what we've been trying. It doesn't fucking work. Are you just trying to make them wealthy for the apocalypse?
Here's an
We just watched that one. I want to see the rest
we
of
get
these.
60% of our crude oil from Canada. All right. Now, if the United States is going to be energy independent again, we have an even tougher negotiating stance with Canada because we're not going to need as much of that crude oil when we start doing our own dance here.
Okay, first, the notion that we get 60% of our crude oil from Canada, that's not true. It's not. We get 60% of our imports from Canada, but not 60% of our crude oil. You see, a lot of people think that we consume about 20 million barrels a day of oil, and that's not true either. What we actually consume is about 20 million barrels a day of petroleum or refined fuels, right? Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, things like that. And a lot of those refined fuels are actually products of natural gas, not crude oil. So if you wanted to dig down, how much crude oil do we actually use in the United States? It's more like about 16 million barrels a day. And we produce 13 and a half. We produce 13 and a half of the 16. We simply import cheaper oils for profit. Yeah, this is why we're able to export so much of our oil.
That's why when we've been energy independent for this whole time and we're still importing the shit, it's for companies to make money, right? We import it, we refine it, we sell it off to some other builder, especially in Canada, because again, they don't have good routes to ship their oil.
And fetch a better price for it. We import cheaper oil for better profit. So no, we don't get anywhere near 60% of our oil from Canada. We get 60% of our imports. We produce 13.5 million barrels a day of oil, and we use 16. The fact that we decide to export some of it has nothing to do with need. As far as her comments about when we become energy independent again, we won't need them, as if we're importing significantly more oil now than we were under the last Trump administration. It's about the same. It's slightly more, but that's only because we're exporting more. It's slightly more, but only because we're exporting more. We're producing 1.5 million barrels of oil a day more. Yeah, we are significantly more energy independent now than we were at the end of the Trump administration. That's just a fact. Energy independence is when you produce more energy than you consume, right? And it's not all about oil and gas. It's also about renewables, nuclear, you name
whatever produces energy.
We produced 102.83 quadrillion BTUs of energy, and we consumed 93.59. So we produced a little over 9 quadrillion BTUs more of energy than we needed. At the end of the Trump administration, that was 1. At the end of the Trump administration, that was 1.
It's a 900% increase under Biden.
This notion that we will need less Canadian oil when we become energy independent again is completely false.
What's up, Joel?
We're going to continue buying Canadian oil. That's how we make money. We do it for profit, not for need. Throw all this need bullshit out the window. That's not a thing. This has never been about need. It's always been about profit, right? Anyone who makes arguments about we need or what we don't need are completely detached from reality when we're talking about energy, any kind of energy. Energy is a for-profit item. This is a business. This is about greed. This is about money. This has nothing to do with need. What the hell does need have to do with money unless you just need money? And we need money. So stop making arguments about what we need or what they need or what someone else needs. This has nothing to do with need. Everything to do with profit. Thanks.
And that's been true for years. We were energy independent under Trump. We were more energy independent under Biden. And we're still at that. Trump hasn't made a significant either way yet.
Colleague here at MSNBC, and personally,
Joy Reid.
it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows.
This may be an unpopular opinion, but as someone who doesn't watch the news, I believe that if you have networks or news organizations that make massive changes to their staff, to their anchors that have been there for years, because of the results of an election, they're not news organizations. Yeah, they're political organizations. Yeah. And in what will likely be another very unpopular opinion, the reason these news organizations have sort of morphed into political organizations is because they have to. Because that's what the people want. The people want to be told by someone they trust on their TV.
And the president wants to sue them.
That their beliefs are right. That's what the people want. That's why all of these firings are occurring across many, many news networks. Because all of their ratings have crashed. And why have all of their ratings crashed? I don't know. Apparently, news networks are now responsible for the results of elections. Yeah, that's a thing. Do you know when news organizations were just news organizations? When that's what the people wanted. When people just wanted the news, that's what they got. People don't want the news anymore. Now, they want positive reinforcement. Now, they want to be assured that they are correct in their beliefs and their feelings. Now, they need someone to tell them all of the bad things about the people that they do not agree with politically. And they need to tell them all of the wonderful things about the people they do agree with politically. That's what these shows have become. So much so that apparently now, if these people, if their candidates don't win, it's apparently the responsibility of the news organizations that they watch for not letting people know exactly what was going to happen or not being good enough in portraying their views. Not the news organizations, but the people's views out to the world. They're literally holding news organizations accountable for the results of elections. Because apparently these news organizations, with all of their efforts, they just weren't good at getting
I hope so. Maybe he'll be crucified soon.
lazy people off of their asses to go vote. So that's their fault. So, we have longtime news anchors losing their jobs, and we also have longtime news anchors that are just walking away because they don't want to be a target of the incoming administration. Yeah, that's why they're walking away. But who is replacing these news media?
I've been thinking about it today. Like when I said earlier, like it's reality TV, right? It has nothing to do with how much money you can save or is actually being saved or do we need these programs or not, right? It has nothing to do with that. Instead, it's how many retweets can you get, how many shares, how many people like this AI video of Gaza. He turned it into a TV show. The people on the left are still trying to play politics, and Trump was running a reality TV show. We'll probably be voting by texting into a hotline soon during the live premiere of the season finale of Your Next President.
Where are people flocking to get their news? To the organizations that feed you the most propaganda, to the organizations that are the most extreme in their opinions. That's where they're flocking to. These independent media organizations have absolutely...
There are people in his fucking chat arguing, but some people want the truth, not to be gratified. Yeah, but it's obviously not the fucking majority of people.
No allegiance to the truth. They will spit misinformation from the left side of the aisle, just as vile as right-wing media.
Bert had to delete his show by accident.
The left is flocking to...
He's got to redo it now.
Flocking to a Fox...
We're going to have a whole new Bert show to review that's just the same as the last show. He's going to repeat every word of it. I just looked up his post a second ago. It's funny.
News version presented from a left-wing perspective. People ask me all the time why I don't work with some of these news organizations. I'm like, you obviously have no idea who I am if you think that I would go align myself with what is happening right now in news and media. And listen, like I said, I haven't watched the news for years. The one person I will watch is the news girl. Lisa Millard. I'm not sure how you say it. That's who I watch. Because she just gives me the news. I don't need opinions. I don't need you to expound on what you believe is happening. I just need the news. That's all I need. Nobody granted you some special gift of being the authority on what may or may not happen, news people. Do you understand? And most of you certainly don't have the time because you're being inundated and you must continue cranking out content and cranking out the news. You obviously don't have the time to look up just the basic facts of a lot of the stories that you put out because they're largely incorrect. They're largely misinformation. They're trash. They're trash. The new independent media that I have seen post-election is twice as bad as the media.
God, I hate when people say like, "Oh, it's the independents that are giving us the truth." Bullshit. Bullshit.
Election. Yeah.
What about that big scandal where they're already being paid by Russia? You don't remember that happening?
With the exception of the news girl. Thank you, Lisa, for everything you do. Thank you. Don't forget.
Shocking report.
I think these are older ones.
$445 million last year on politics. They gave $96 million directly to Donald Trump's campaign, and they spent over $243 million lobbying Congress. Now they are...
I'm sure they gave a bunch to Kamala Harris's campaign too. Oil is just in it. They don't care. They don't really care who wins as long as they've got a dog in the race.
For a repeal of the clean energy tax credit.
The only thing I ask from politicians is to just tell me the truth. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican.
Oh, by the way, when you hear people like Kash Patel or RFK say something to like Bernie Sanders about being paid off by Big Pharma, you understand Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have never taken money from a Big Pharma company, right? Instead, they do like grassroots like donations or whatever, right? And they when you donate, you have to report where you work, like what industry you work in. So if I donate $200, $500, $10, it doesn't matter, and I work for a biomedical lab, but like I'm concerned about that, right? Like I don't want fucking RFK to be the secretary of HHS, and I donate to fucking Bernie Sanders campaign or whatever. Like that's the issue when you go to like Open Secrets or whatever. You have to report where you work. If you find like fucking Pfizer gave him $10 billion, that's a whole lot different than a bunch of people who just happen to work in big pharma or the pharmaceutical industry independently came to donate money to a politician.
Republican or independent, I'm going to hold you the same standard, right? All I want is the truth. I don't need your hyperbole. I don't need your BS, okay? I want the truth. And let's be honest, I'm already not a fan of yours because we were doing some research a couple of months back on people in Congress trading stocks, and turns out you trade more stocks than anybody in Congress. You're basically a congressional day trader. Like, we basically pay you to trade stocks all day. You have over 4,000 trades a year. That's more than 10 a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You have thousands more trades than anybody else in Congress. That's really at the heart of this, my main issue with you, but I also take issues with what you're saying in this video because someone needs to hold you accountable. Yes, we can agree. We both don't like Donald Trump.
It's disingenuous. The research technically supports it, because if you go to like these websites that catalog the donations, technically you can say like, oh, well, you received a bunch of money from Big Pharma, but it's not from like Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson or whatever. It's from people that work within that industry. And most of those donations were like $500 and below. You know what I mean?
Donald Trump, whatever. That doesn't mean I'm going to let you lie to me. Doesn't mean I'm going to let you lie to me. If you lie to me, you're no different than Donald Trump, are you? No, you're not. So according to the Federal Trade Commission and Open Secrets, Donald Trump received 32.
I think you can find out where the money comes from PACs. It's super PACs that you can't, right?
Well over $32 million from the oil and gas industry last year. And oh, by the way, not a single penny of it.
And neither one of them can go directly to the candidate. They just have to be in, they can make commercials in favor of the candidate, but they can't coordinate with the candidate. They can't like say, where do you want us? They're not supposed to be able to say, where do you want us to spend this money? What state? What do you want the message to be? They're not supposed to be able to do that.
Not a single penny of this came from Big Oil. Who is Big Oil? Big Oil is Shell, Chevron, Exxon, BP, and Total Energies.
Oh, he might be talking about that right here.
You know that. But you just label everybody, anybody and everybody.
These people might have said they worked in oil and gas, health services, HMOs, maybe.
Oil industry is Big Oil because it sounds shocking and it has more punch, right? When you say it, Big Oil, rah, they're evil. I agree they're evil. But that's not where this came from.
And he's the CEO of an oil company.
And you're lying. So how are you any different than Big Oil? And this is the report you're using. You're using a completely unsourced report put out by the climate lobby. You see all these links? They're supposed to be sources? They're not. They just take you to random fucking places. And they even admit in this report, hey, this is dark money, so we can't figure out where it came from. Well,
okay.
Where did you get the numbers? Where did you get the numbers? Isn't it odd that this report comes out when they're talking about the clean energy tax credit? And isn't it odd that this report came out from Clean Energy, right? This completely unsourced, unproven report. Why can't we just use the numbers we know are true? Is this not good enough? Do we need to make it worse to sell what we're trying to sell? Is it worth lying to the people over? I'm sick and tired of politicians lying to me. I'm sick and tired of being disrespected by you people because you think you need to scare the shit out of everybody to get your way. I don't care. I don't care what your excuse is for lying to me. It doesn't matter. When you lie to me, you disrespect me. As far as the fossil fuel industry trying to get rid of the clean energy tax credit, I'm sure they are.
I appreciate him calling out both sides.
That doesn't surprise me. Clean energy tries to get rid of fossil fuel subsidies all the time. They go back and forth all the time.
I wish Elon Musk would stop acting like he's a fucking above like government subsidies and handouts or welfare. Like all of his shit is funded off subsidies.
This is a never-ending thing. Is it in more danger now than usual? Probably, because Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Does that mean it's going to go away? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to get rid of it. There's too many people in Congress support it. Far too many tax dollars flowing into their states. Yeah. So, if you can provide sources that show that those numbers are true, I'll totally retract any statement I've made here. But you can't, can you? No, because it's bullshit. Your voters might believe you, and that's fine, but I don't.
Citizens United was a big fucking deal.
I don't believe any of you people. Why would I?
It kind of fucked all this donations up.
A politician.
Money and lobbying and elections.
Bob's back.
Oh God, he had this falling out with Bob. It's Bob the Fish is the guy's name. And so Bob made a video that said Oil's down. What do you think about that, you fucking liberals? Trump's doing it. And, like, I guess he was, like, reading, like, oil in the last, like, 10 minutes. So, you know, like, oil trades all day. And he goes up and down, does stuff. He was, like, looking at, like, the last 10 minutes where he had dropped, like, 20 cents a barrel. But overall on the day, the whole day, like a 24-hour period, it was up, like, $13. So Mr. Global's like, oil's actually up for the day. And then Bob the Fish comes in and he's like, you piece of shit, you think you know everything? You're not going to do it. And he's like, do you even know who I am? Like, I work in oil. And he's like, is that a threat? Like, Bob the Fish is a wild guy. Bob says oil hasn't been this cheap since 2021, so you're telling me all of this all of a sudden happened 30 days after Trump took office, and it didn't happen for the past 3 years, and Trump had nothing to do with it.
Bob's back. Fortunately for me, you know, here's the thing. Bob's going to keep me in content for like a really long time. You know what
Bob's
I mean?
a wild cat. We'll go look at him in a second.
Bob's just great.
Oh, do you guys happen to remember a guy, you may have seen him around here. You may have seen me cover him on the show. I'm not sure. Do you guys remember this guy? I can't remember the last time I cover him was, but his name is Bert Lynch.
The power of Christ compels you to give little Bert a little kiss.
Bert Lynch. Give little Bert a little kiss. The power of Christ compels you to give little Bert a little kiss. I want everybody in the chat to say thank you, Bert. We owe this man a credit and a service to America. So everybody type out, thank you, Bert. Thank you. Because I have been setting on a VA claim for so fucking long. And Bert, the lead vocalist in the Air Force Choir, called the VA to report me for being a lunatic online, and suddenly my claim gets settled out in my favor. Thank you very much, Bert. It was just one of them, and it's still not where I want it. But god damn, Bert, thank you for that. I'm sure whoever you talked to the VA was like, oh, yep, check the box. He's crazy. He's crazy. Thank you, Bert. I appreciate that. I still have a bunch more to do. I've got a year to appeal this one. I've got some other ones that are on the back burner right now. But I did get a raise, a pretty significant raise after my doctor's appointment. It's not where I want to be. It's not where I should be. And even the rater kind of put that in the paperwork, like, we know, like, this is going on, but we're going to need better documentation here, and here before we can do, like, I still have some work to do, okay? But I'm in a better situation now than I was before. Thank you, Bert. I might send you a fucking sock. I don't know.
Video Bob posted earlier where he talked about how amazingly low oil prices are getting. One of his comments was, oil hasn't been this low since 2021. So where's oil? $69. Not bad, eh?
69.
Lowest since 2021?
What?
That doesn't seem right.
What?
It's because it's not, Bob. It's not. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oil was in the 67, 67, 68. Oil was in the 60s for the entire week before the presidential election we just...
Oh, my goodness.
That was just...
Bob.
Wasn't that long ago. Oh, look. And
are you watching this?
The week after the election, oil was, 68, 67, $68. Oh, look. And the week after, 69. Oh, and look at all these 60s. And look at these 60s. And look at these 60s, Bob.
Damn it, Bob.
I didn't count them all. But there's like 27 or 28 days just right here. And this starts October, right? October, November, election, December. What, 27 or 28 days where oil is in the 60s, Bob?
Yeah.
28 days where oil is in the 60s. And you're making a video.
And also, Bert, I forgot to say, some of your biggest donors have been making a little donation over here at the Cold Beer Confessional. I know they don't donate to you anymore, right? They just come up with an elaborate plan to make you lose everything. But they've been donating over here.
Because oil...
Are you mad because you served 7 months and you couldn't say you threw your larynx out to get disability? I was singing so hard, I ruptured my vocal cords.
At the 60s mark for the first time under the Trump administration, and you're telling people that this would never have happened if Donald Trump hadn't won.
Uh-oh.
You said people would be paying more had he not won. That's what you said. Yet oil was here.
And we got Marianne some money.
More than 20 times in just the last, couple months? Bob? You know, Bob, if you're going to talk about oil and gas like I do, you're going to have to be right sometime.
Not only am I a few cards short of a deck, I think everybody else is playing fucking poker, and I'm sitting over here with an Uno deck. Reverse.
That's the thing. People are really particular about... Bob? You hear the chopper? You think I just made Bob have a stroke? I hope you're okay, Bob. You know, I was recently in the hospital, but this sounds like it could be much more serious with you because, man, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Bob, listen. Bob, I think you're great, but listen, you're gonna have to be right sometimes.
Damn it, they bring Bob back?
People are picky. People are picky about facts, especially when they talk about oil and gas. This isn't politics, Bob. This is oil and gas. This is important shit. Get it right, Bob. Get it right. Thanks. Bob's back.
All right, let's check out Bob the Fish. Oh, wait. No, I just got to refresh it. Surely his shit isn't private. Because I just watched it the other day. This is Bob. This is Bob, the self-proclaimed oil and gas expert.
Oh, the hypocrisy. Democrats went after Elon Musk today and accusing him of not being a loyal American citizen because he's only been here 22 years. First, he's a citizen of Africa and Canada and the United States. And
did you forget he came here illegally and it was South Africa?
How can he be trusted? What happened to the party of diversity and the hypocrisy in the Democrat Party is just beyond belief.
You know, there's a difference between like a refugee coming here for a better life and then somebody comes here that does like trade deals around the globe, literally has a vested interest in China and Russia. Like, there's a big difference whether he's born here or not.
It's just beyond belief.
Bob says in the comments, Elon is one of the few true African Americans in this country.
You just got to shake your head and say, how the hell can anybody believe anything these people say? I'm sorry, but
Happy birthday.
Mind-boggling to me. I don't know. It's if you vote.
Let's watch some more Bob the Fish.
Trump has announced one of the most brilliant.
Here it is, the $5 million golden visa. Trump literally said he's working on a program to where if you pay us $5 million, you get a gold card, which is better than a green card, and it's a path to citizenship. Fuck everybody. You remember when it used to be like illegals can't be here because these other people went through the right process, right? They hired a lawyer and they went through immigration and they got a visa and they applied and they went through this process and they've waited years to get here. Now Trump's plan is anybody with $5 million, you're in.
Plans I think I've ever heard from government.
The best plans Bob's ever heard.
Offering basically a golden ticket, a green card visa to the United States.
Well, he's the same color as the Oompa Loompas, so golden ticket. I would venture away from that terminology.
For anyone paying $5 million. Now, all these people have to be vetted and make sure we're not putting any arms dealers or terrorists in here, but there are close to 200 million people, or 200,000 people in the world that are worth over 50 million that would, I think most
I mean, some are, of course, in the U.S., but I think most of those would be excited to get a U.S. green card. Also, there's corporations that would buy.
Anybody that has $5 million to throw away on this has probably already got American citizenship if they wanted it.
Them for their executives that have to travel to the U.S. It would be a small price to pay for some of these.
Not just has $5 million. I'm sure there's people with $5 million that probably want to come to the U.S., but, you know, I'm talking about like has $5 million disposable that they can just say, oh, yeah, I'll skip the line. Right.
To make it streamline it for their executives. But and then once these ultra rich people come here, then they start paying taxes here. So
when I get my back pay from the VA, I'm definitely sending Bert a sock. It'll probably be used and it'll probably be stiff, but it's coming your way, buddy.
So our tax base increases substantially. I think this could easily generate.
He's a businessman.
And help pay down our national debt and cut our U.S. taxes for just about everybody here. And I think it's a great idea to have people paying taxes for us. And what do you guys think? It's something new, and kind of love the idea. It's we've been selling America to all the immigrants that come here. We've been buying them hotel rooms and by giving them money for food and education, paying for their kids' education. And this is the first time we're actually getting money back for letting a select few millionaires come in here and increase our tax base. But what do you think? Trump has announced one of the most brilliant plans I think I've ever heard from government. He is offering basically a golden ticket. A green card visa.
It's the best deal Bob's ever heard.
Anyone,
and I believe it.
Just a reminder, oil was at $80 just a couple days before Trump took office. And now look at it.
Uh-oh. Here's the video he's talking about. Look at it. 69. Like, so Bob will set like right here. See this drop right here? He'll set right here. And say, oh, from here to here, he'll say oil's down like, you know, $1.15 or whatever. But on the day, it'll be up. That's why even on his charts when he shows them, they'll be in the green. You know, when this whole chart is red, that means it's down over the period you're monitoring or the day or the month or whatever you're monitoring, right? When the whole chart is green, that means it's up.
So when people ask you, no, but why are the prices dropping? They are. Takes a little time to get from the pump to the.
How funny would it be? Hypothetically, in a video game, like if we took society today and put it in a video game, and then the president of the main country in that video game came out with an idea to sell citizenship for $5 million a pop. And then he happens to sell a few citizenships at $5 million a pop from people from another country who don't particularly like us that he ended the nuclear deal with, send over some very motivated people from their country who have a desire to end said leader's life, and he sold them the ticket to get here. That would be wild.
From the well to the pump. So give a little time, but it's coming. And we're going to switch over to summer blends right about now. So the price will go up just a little bit from that, but it always does. But just know you're paying less than you would have. Just a reminder.
Liberals.
Well, another one has bitten the dust. Lester Holt over at NBC has resigning this summer, he says. So he's got a couple months left, I guess.
In case you missed that, if Iran funds people to get citizenship, that would be wild.
But he's 65, so I can understand why he's leaving, but glad he's leaving. And
apparently they have a legitimate bone to pick with one Mr. Donaldo El Trumpo.
Pressured out, I'd imagine, by NBC trying to go in a new direction here. But we'll just have to see. It's they're falling like rocks, seems like. MSNBC after criticizing Doge layoff. Well, I got some bad news. I just heard our friend Jesse Solette was jumped by two men wearing Tesla hats and who beat him up and told him this was Doge country. Can it get any worse? Where's MSNBC on this one? We're trying. That's we just got to get rid of this. All this MAGA hate. That's it. There's just so much hate on the right. You tune in any of our channels and they're just hate Trump. Hate everything but Trump. There's no hate on the right. There's only hate on the left, and the only thing we hate is the fake news.
There's no hate on the right.
The left puts out there. So, but world's looking better. You just saw that the food prices are coming down. So
it's only on the left.
Good sign. Well, I got some
food prices coming down. It's a good sign, guys. It's a good sign. Just make sure you stay on top of that. It's a good sign. I don't know, dude. It's been a wild few days. It has been a wild few days. I'm glad that it's winding down. I don't know that Bert ever got live. He was having an emergency at his apartment complex. Oh, there he is. Are we redoing the show, Bert? I can't stay to watch this.
I'm sorry that her mother uses her to get attention first.
Oh,
that's what
yes, we're redoing the show.
She also has a son who's disabled.
He had an emergency at his apartment complex where he has all his black friends. And he's muted. Thank you, Bert. You guys tell Bert thanks for helping my VA claim go through. He says he called the VA. He had been making calls all day to the VA trying to help us out. And I'll be damned if he didn't do it.
Now let's see if we can get the image back. There we go.
Okay, no camera, but we got audio.
Holy mackerel, what a mess. I'm not showing any image.
No camera, got audio. Can't see you.
First sound, but now I think there's sound with no.
I don't even know. I teach this. I teach OBS to people. I used to do it in the past for like money. I've just helped people out just because I was friends with them or whatever. But I used to set up like overlays and stuff for OBS for like some pretty big streamers and help them figure stuff out, and used to hang out on the OBS fucking boards and shit. Made a couple plugins myself for OBS. I don't even know that I could teach Bert.
And start this over. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to find out. As I'm waving at you. I'm being told to wave at the camera. Is it right?
No audio.
I think we're okay.
Oh, God.
Pretty sure everything's fine.
Thank God. Nerd. Yeah, that's true.
Everything was about to go. Everything.
OBS plugins fucking fascinate me.
Where it was.
I'm really bad at it. Like, I'm not good at it. It's like just determination. Like, I'm sure there's much more efficient ways to do it, and people that can design it and know what they're doing. Like, I brute force it, like reading the documentation, but still there's some amazing things you can do with plugins.
Rumble notified me. Okay. Well, here was us. So we've got about 40 people in the room, folks. I'm sorry. And I had an emergency just before I was about to go live.
Oh my God.
In the apartment complex. And
all of my black friends were fucking smoking a wood.
Without going into a lot of detail, it's been fixed, but it was bad. And it had nothing to do with me personally, but it had to do with the complex. And it's fixed. It's handled. The situation.
He said he was trying to share his show on Facebook and accidentally deleted it.
It's over.
I can go read his post. On
my cat is running around. Come here,
he thinks he's got me blocked. He doesn't even know how many accounts I've got.
I'm going to explain to you what has occurred. We may not get that many people in the chat tonight because I'm coming on very late. It's 11 o'clock back east.
That's probably it.
This is going to be a redo of yesterday's show, and I'm going to tell you why. When I was trying to share the show to other platforms, somehow it got...
Imagine all you do to share the show to the other platforms is copy this link right here at the top. Highlight it, copy, paste. That's it. Here's his post. For the record, in parentheses below is what I wrote when I tried to post last night's show to Facebook. But the wrong show got linked, and last night's show was accidentally deleted. Here's the parentheses. If you know me or who I really am, then you will get it. G-I-T, it. Get. Geet. If you have listened to the lies about me, then today you will wake up to the truth. Grab your popcorn, as this is not a short story, but after it is told, I think I may be initialed. I think I may be initialed to an apology or two. Did you mean entitled? Here, I'll copy this. This is the word he typed out. You guys tell me what this word is. Initialed? I may be initialed an apology or two. Then, out of the apology. Now we're back to the present day Bert. I did not delete it on purpose, and I'm not embarrassed by anything I said. The good thing about telling the truth is you can tell it again exactly the same way, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I intended to go live tonight with another show, but I am dealing with an emergency here in my apartment complex at the moment. If I can get it handled by 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Pacific, I'm going to go live and invite you all to come watch as I repeat last night's show because this information needs to be on the record. So literally, he's telling you I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last night.
Deleted. Last night's show got deleted accidentally. I am not ashamed of a damn thing I said last night. It needed.
Imagine you do this all the time. You guys share TikTok videos or YouTube videos or Facebook videos. You just copy the link and there's no way to accidentally delete it. There's not a delete button right beside the copy paste button.
To be said, it needs to be out there. Number one. Number two. The good thing about telling the truth is you can tell that same story over and over and it's not going to change, which is why I do that. I'm always honest with you guys too.
Makes sense.
I'm told many times, you tell people too much. But I learned a long time ago, just tell the truth and you'll never have to worry. If you don't want to stick around for that, I understand. I won't be mad at you if you decide you don't want to stay. But then again, you might want to stay. You might want to go because a few things have come to light. And what
a few more things.
I, in the past, have been avoiding mentioning.
By the way, he said CPS took my kids from me.
This character's name because I'm giving him publicity and I don't want to, his ego needs stroking. Somebody has to stroke his ego because and I have not anything else for the boy.
Wait a second, hold on.
His ego needs stroking. Somebody has to stroke his ego because nobody will stroke anything else for the boy. His name is Will.
I'll have you know I get my foot stroked at least once a week, whether I need it or not.
Bird, and he is a living, walking, talking piece of shit. Okay? I understand.
He's a what? I wish I could stay for this, but I got to be up at like 5 in the morning.
Anything else for the boy. His name is Will Bird, and he is a living, walking, talking piece of shit. Okay? I understand, and I have not watched it yet because I'm going to do that. So I understand he did a 3.5-hour show about me last night because of the show I posted yesterday. Good.
Let's do another one.
Go watch it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Someone told me he might even be on there now talking about me. It's okay. He's
Uh-oh.
That's all he has.
Might be. He might be.
And breeze to wishes he could be Bert to the point where
that's all I do is cover Bert.
He says
every day.
He is
every day it's Bert.
Good for nothing. Crazy person. Admitted that he's crazy. He's admitted that he's mentally ill.
Tell me when he says something new that you guys don't know.
So
it's almost like I went and fought for my country overseas and it left me all fucked up in the head. Almost.
One of the things that I covered last night was later on in the show because I did about a 2-hour show last night. I'm going to cover it first this time because I don't want
2.5 hours.
This stupid idiot to take it down. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys over here.
Before I can take it down. Oh, yeah, that's what he's mad about. I guess I could have removed my video where I said we were trying to figure out what hotel Bert was in.
To see what Will Bird's show looks like. It's called The Cold Beer Confessional. And he uses a...
Oh, thanks for the title. I appreciate it.
Green screen with... And then he puts what is ever on his screen that he's looking at on the green screen behind him. Well, that must cost him a fortune. At least $9.95 for the green screen.
You're watching through $1,000 worth of fucking camera equipment.
And then he sits down in the corner, hides down in the corner with his vape and his hat on backwards, covering up his bald ass head.
Shaved balls.
Criticizes anything and everything that he puts on the screen behind him. He almost
for years now. Have I fooled you guys about my hair capacity? Did you guys think I had like long flowing locks?
He agrees with. Once in a while, he will put some leftist.
I shaved, so I had hair in high school. I had like buzz cuts during football season and shit. And when I joined the Army, they gave me like a buzz cut and no legs. Don't forget that. They gave me like a buzz cut in basic. And then when I got to like my unit and shit, I just started shaving it slick. And I did that for like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. I don't know how long. I did it for a while. Shave it slick. Every time I took a shower, shave it. Shave my face at the same time. I just shave everything but my eyebrows. And later on, when I was still in the military, I thought, you know what? I haven't had hair in like a long ass fucking time. I'll grow it out. It did not want to grow back, dude. So I don't know if it was like age and like male pattern baldness or whatever, or if I damaged it from shaving it all the time. Because my scalp doesn't feel like a scalp. It feels like fucking leather where it's been shaved for so long. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was a couple years older and couldn't grow hair, or maybe it's because I shaved it. I have no idea. I don't know if shaving it hurts the hair growth. No.
There. And I agree with that guy. Oh, I agree with him. See, that's what he sounds like.
I agree with that guy. That's Bo Sweeney. He won the lottery.
And then he just he's messed with Brad Barton. He's messed with Phil Gillespie. Phil Gillespie actually went on his show and did about a 2-hour show. I was watching that show. It was a couple years ago.
It was a 5-hour show.
And he acted like he was going to be fair to Will, and then he just ripped him apart. I have not. Will has caused a lot of people to get only one side of the story, and he makes shit up, and he's being led around by the nose by Karen Kelly Roark.
Okay.
Who used to be my business partner. My business partner, and she's alive.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna get into that too.
She's now my business partner. She's now. I would like to announce that Karen Kelly Roark now owns 1/10 of 1% of Booty Hole Productions.
Doing the show, I'll probably condense some of this stuff down because
I'm not. I don't like having hair. If I was concerned about it, I guess I would do something. I don't want hair. I like it shaved.
It's fresh in my mind. But first thing I want to do, I want to show you this Will Bird character's page.
Okay.
That's him. And of course, in the background is one of my shows. And I mean, you can go just about every show the boy does. Not every show, but very often.
Just about.
He does a segment on me. Sometimes the entire show. I understand the last 3.5.
Just about. How long had it been since we covered Bert?
Hours has been nothing but me on his show. So, anyway, I've got people that are private messaging me. I wish you guys wouldn't do that when I'm on the air. Let me see if I can get this to work better tonight than it did last night.
Don't private message me while I'm on the air. Can you not see that I'm live?
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
so I'll come
finally.
With this because that image right there, that's
you're gone.
The show that Will Bird is talking about.
Okay.
And this is me live, okay?
Guys, this is me now, and this is me laughing on a previous show. I don't want to confuse anybody in the audience. I know you're seeing me twice. Please remain calm. This is me now. This is me before. Just so everybody knows.
In one of his shows, he made an admission that I was glad that I got on tape.
Of guilt.
Which got deleted last.
Yeah, he's doing it live. He's live right now.
By accident. So I'm going with this first. Then we'll go cover everything else. But
thank God.
Back a year ago, I got evicted from my house. I'll cover that eviction in more detail in a minute. During that time, I had to go and check into hotel rooms. Will Bird took that time to decide to start attacking me. I'm not sure that he had done that before, but maybe he had. But what he did was he got his minion. Bird took that time to decide to start attacking me. During that time, I had to go and check into hotel rooms. Will Bird took that time to decide to start attacking me. I'm not sure that he had done that before, but maybe he had. But what he did was he got his minions to start tracking where I was living.
Oh my goodness, you minions.
And attempt to get me kicked out of the hotel. And they got me kicked out of 3 different hotels by telling them that I had a cat in my room and they don't allow cats.
Oh, so you were violating a policy, and a good Samaritan let the business owner know that their policies were being violated? I'd say that person deserves a pat on the back at least. Round of applause, please.
They allow service animals, which he is now a registered service animal, but he wasn't then. I couldn't afford to do it.
Okay.
And as a result, I got kicked out of 3 different places. In this particular instance right here, you're going to hear this jackass admit that that's what they did.
Okay. No. I'm going to give you the Judy chop.
I theater professor in college, which absolutely turned my life around.
I thought you said not real teachers, but then you said a professor in college. Not in school, just my theater professor in school.
Noble, you were amazing.
He has 20 likes and 30 dislikes.
Others. My dad. I thought I had this queued up. And related to being on camera, anything related to being on stage, I learned it from watching my dad.
Oh,
those are great teachers.
I wonder what your son's learning without a dad.
And there's people that do nothing but
God damn, you got to pick better clips, bro.
criticize anything and everything somebody does.
Uh-oh.
And those people are just pathetic.
Live podcast.
Now that, timing. I only see 13. Let's have another team. Thank you there. That's Robert Lamb.
So he's gotten one so far. He started.
And
so he said, but everything is going to be all right.
Skip through this and try to find this.
Okay, yeah, let's find it.
Piece I want to show you.
The trolls timestamps.
You don't have to change anything.
Timestamps. We see where the night takes us. All I really want to do is him calling me out and say, she's loose in America. Okay?
You know, I make sure,
He hasn't. God damn, he doesn't even know what he's looking for, dude. He just jumped back like over an hour.
I don't know.
Put a percentage of a show on there. So like he would do.
I might not be able to find the clip. It's pissing me off because I had it. Advertising. He's got 2 followers. That's making talk about this. So anyway, they just don't have to speak in.
He still hasn't hit 22.
He's obsessed with how many numbers I have. I want to find this. He had his own TV show for.
I'm pointing out that you had 12 likes, and you said I'm not doing the rest of the show till I get at least 10 more likes. You got 1, and you're like, we're gonna have to move on, guys.
A while, and then he and his girlfriend or wife decided this is.
Are we still waiting on those likes?
Come out to Vegas, I could find it, and I had
on YouTube. I would rather those people watch.
I don't say.
This is the worst case of Inception ever.
I don't know. Back to the money from this thing.
Uh oh. Nepo babies.
My last
word. To bring his son. The reason you guys are here
on a podcast and being guests and right.
We're gonna watch her favorite and send a little. So Kimber 711 wants to make sure she's back in the show.
I told you I wasn't deleting it, Bart. You got time. Go find it.
All right, let's go ahead.
Black folks or pronouncing machine. Oh my global.
So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I can't find it now, and that makes me mad because I had it queued up. I know I did, and
when you fucking thumbs up.
It would justify. And let's see one more try.
I'm sorry, oh, because YouTube sagged, John. It's hard. It was on Rumble, Bart.
You're close.
Thank you.
So what is not going so well?
Bart won't move on. Basically, like a conspiracy about it.
Wow.
We're not moving on till you get to see somebody crazier than.
No, see, this is.
No.
This
might be the most fascinating thing I've ever seen in my life.
So he's
He said he had 12.
I'm not gonna be able to find it. Doesn't look like.
He has no idea what he's doing, does he?
Let me take just a second here. I'm gonna take a short break. You guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn off the mic.
Go find it.
Talk to you, and you can watch me while I find this.
What was that? A curse word you said?
I'm gonna turn off the mic so I don't have to talk to you, and you can.
What does he mouth right here? You got it. Just keep working. No one's deleting it. We'll wait on you. One T-shirt talks about Epstein. Move on to other subjects until he gets more likes when the intros. Oh, and then like a $500 donation. Who put a percentage of that happen? Why would now this is? Oh my God! Find it, bro. Who won't lies?
I'll go ahead and put my mic back up because you guys are having to hear this.
Ordering. First of all, there was a black going to come on and say that we called Chinese or got to get over 20 likes. Better running it up. Make it.
Right, it is.
He locked me up for a while. Then it made me see some people. Call. What the fuck do you think? The cabin. The haters.
Okay.
We did an 8-hour show. No, I was just making fun of Bert.
For the life of me.
Oh my God. Are you just scrubbing footage?
People are watching. It means I should have at least 40 thumbs up right now.
Well, the video's over and you got 19. I'm sorry. I refreshed over. You got 19.
So at least you're getting a good idea. And Alex in the room. I'm going to ask you and do me a favor.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Guys, go dislike the video.
How many thumbs up there are?
Go dislike the video. He's got 18 likes and 16 dislikes.
So now you see how he goes and sends people over to dislike. Started so late was because I set that up, and for whatever reason, when I dragged it over into the show,
talk to the authorities. He's got a lawyer. Oh, culture run. You found it yet?
The way things going for him, kick back in over here and just stop that for now. I'll just go ahead and tell the story as I can, and I will find that video for you later and play it.
Holy shit!
The way Will does things is he encourages his followers to come over and try to destroy other people's shows. Them that can do, them that can't criticize.
Okay.
He does it to me quite often, and for the most part, I just ignore it. But the reason that I've decided to come out and talk about this openly to everybody is because of Kel and Gary Roark, who started
okay.
This. Okay. And I was all fired up yesterday because I spent all day preparing to go live and talk about this stuff. And I didn't have any notes or anything like that, but what I did have was just a memory of everything that went down. And it was a stream of consciousness. There was no, I kind of ambled around a little bit. I answered a few questions, and that's what led to me going in different directions. So in this particular episode of Will's show, he covers about 45
Damn it, hold on.
And then he cuts it off just as I'm about to explain to the...
Just as he's about to get to the good part, I cut it off. Sorry, I can't stop these ads.
And how it happened.
Okay.
And he took great delight in it, and he still does. Although he lives in a campground, in a broken down camper that...
Broken down.
After the hurricane. And,
condemned.
And like I said, everybody who was involved in that hurricane, my heart goes out to them. But Will Bird, instead of having...
Not Will.
He started kicking people out of the campground.
Everybody else, but not Will.
Them.
My heart goes out to everybody affected by the flood, but not this guy. Not this guy. He's such a piece of shit. Let's do this.
They were obsessed with a blue dress with a stain on it at the time. And I fought my ass off to get my son. I lost him, and they poisoned his mind. And now he's 30, about to be 30, and he don't want anything to do with me. I was trying to.
Is he telling his story now?
Him being raised by her and her family, because I know what her family raised. A lying, cheating whore.
Lying, cheating. Oh, man.
Stupid enough to get married to. And now my son is entrapped by that family, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, that's awful.
I probably won't ever see him. I mean, I hope someday he changes his mind and shows up. But Mariah, you'll never be back in this room again.
Mariah left a comment. He only read one of my comments. Then I was immediately blocked. That's my wife, Jaybird.
Everything's going to be all right. Says that she took a sleeping pill and may not be here all night. I appreciate you even being here.
That was 30 minutes ago, Bert. Damn.
If there's questions, I'm going to try to answer them. So, my whole reason for this was to expose Karen Kelly Roark for the liar, cheating woman that she is. You invested your money knowing exactly what we were doing with it.
Okay.
You're the reason that the project failed.
Makes sense.
You destroyed everything that we had built, and you said you didn't care. I tried to save it. I tried to find other investors. I never was able to put together.
He just wasn't able to do it
at one time. The problem is you get a small investment here, a small investment there, and then you run out of money or funds while you're trying to rebuild, while you're trying to make things right.
Is he going to cry?
Studio had to be a live production studio, and it had to be a podcast
top
studio
tier. Had to be
to encompass all the things that was in my contract. And it was our intention to also lease the studio out to other podcasters and charge them a fee and make an income off of that. And all of that was in the works. And then
all of it right in the works.
A little over a year ago, year and a half ago or so, I found another investor, or at least I thought I did.
Let's back up.
And had to be out of what. But Mariah, you'll never 30, about to be 30, and he didn't want anything to do with me.
Did he read it
I was
live?
trying to avoid him being raised by her and her family, because I know what her family raised me. With these and an appeal to the boyfriend in jail. I'm never going to let you see your son again. Took a sorry. Sometimes. Oh, wait, never mind. Hey, Mariah, go. Am I missing anything? Anybody out there who's in the chat room? I don't know.
Jaybird.
So Mariah says, tell your son hello. Oh, wait, never mind. Hey, Mariah, go fuck yourself.
Oh, no.
So Mariah says, tell your son hello. Oh, wait, never mind. Hey, Mariah, go fuck yourself. I'm sure the Terminator will be taking you out right now. Sorry, sometimes I use that language. I lost my son in a divorce. I fought. I
can't do it.
Custody of my son, my best, and that's the way I want it. But yeah, you sit in this room, you lying bitch, and act like I stole it from you. I got the damn text messages, you idiot.
You idiot.
That's why you don't take me to court. That's why you don't file charges. You're at least smart enough to know.
What? You think she wants your one sock? You think she's going to sue you over Lefty?
You can lie to these people in this chat room and get attention, you attention whore, but you won't ever survive the scrutiny of those texts, the pictures, and the pictures you sent me.
I'm working on it.
Haven't forgotten. So ever survive the scrutiny of those texts, the pictures, and the pictures you sent me, if you haven't forgotten. So Was it a perfect build? No. I told you. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I learned it on the fly, and you said,
he didn't know.
Spare no expense. Get it right. We'll make it back when we start doing the SNTV. It's going to be great. I got so many text messages of you encouraging me to start over on that table. If it's not right, start or whatever it takes, get it right. The thing
Get it right.
8 feet wide and 8 feet long, L-shaped, 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood.
Oh my God.
Painted, and then had to be brought into the house in 3 pieces.
Oh my
Reassembled in the
God.
house. It's sturdy enough to park a damn car on top of it. Had to be.
I bet.
For all the equipment to be able to sit there. And when I've got other people sitting around, you can't have the table shaking, because then when your microphone shakes like that, you can't have that with other people sitting around.
Makes
It
sense.
had to be solid as a rock.
You can't have that, guys.
Now it's in storage. But that's just one example of your ignorance. You knew what was going on. You encouraged me. But you're a woman scorned. And you need the attention, Karen. You've turned my friends against me. I've got people that aren't talking to me because they believe the shit you're saying. And you're enjoying every bit of it. And you got your little boy over here with his vape. I think he's got one in his mouth he's sucking on and one in his ass.
Yeah. I can blow smoke rings out both.
And it
Bert's from some type of fucking far away fucking land and time from the land beyond, where he thinks that he's gonna be like, oh, you put things in your mouth, and I'm gonna be like, oh, he got me. I'm gay. 'Tis I must die. What the fuck?
just keeps coming. And I'm sure there's 3 hours of crap now. Now, the show I did yesterday, I'm trying to repeat as much as I can remember. Yes. Believer 21. Give me a second. So the tides are going to turn and you're going to be exposed, and I got nothing else to do. I might as well just fight, because what I'm doing now is I'm going on offense and I'm staying on offense. And screw you, Will Bird. Okay. Keep it up. Somebody's coming for you. This is not a threat. This is just common sense. You aren't going to continue to get away with this. I'm not the only one you do this to.
Okay.
2,000 miles away from you.
Wait. I thought I called you. I talked about you all show, every show. Who else did I do it to, Bert?
And you're lucky, because I'd be willing to do the jail time just to kick your ass.
FT.
If you come to Vegas, I won't go to jail for it. That's why I've invited you to step.
Because I know the cops here, they let me out. I've drunk a whole 12-pack, and they just tell me to drive on home. You're fine.
Into the octagon with me.
The octagon.
Not because we're going to go be on TV in an octagon fight, but it's legal. Go to the gym and get in the fight and get in the octagon and have a fight. It's legal when I fuck you up.
Didn't you say I could take you like 20 minutes away and make you my prostitute? Wasn't that the claim last night? Take Bert down to the bunny ranch.
Because you agreed to it in a match. And I'm challenging.
That's legal anywhere when you agree to a match.
You now.
Fucking retard.
I'm starting to get better.
Get it.
Getting stronger. I don't need 100% of my.
Show me. Flex. Do one of these.
The power of Christ compels you to give little Bert a little kiss.
Flex for us.
Strength. I don't need 5 freaking pounds of pressure to break your arm, you piece of shit.
I don't need 5 pounds. I'm already intimidated, right? If I wasn't scared before, good God. I don't fucking need 5 pounds of pressure to break your arm, piece of shit. You got me. I'm cornered now.
You want to fight me? Come out here and let's go. You're 30 and
I didn't challenge you.
You
said you're going to hunt me down and beat my ass. And I've just been sitting here enjoying every minute of it.
Do that. But somebody.
You won't spend $1,000 to fly out here and fight. No! Are you fucking stupid?
Some redneck. Somebody's going to get sick of your lip.
That's me. I'm some redneck.
There's a guy that used to live in the park, in the trailer park or the campsite that Will Bird ran out of there.
Campground.
I'm in touch with him all the time. He friended me. I took his friendship. sleeps with a shotgun now because he's afraid of you.
Be better. Bert, you ever thought about getting a shotgun?
You scared him to death. You terrorized him.
Oh, my God.
He's in his 60s, too, and he's disabled. And you terrorized
Oh,
him.
man. It's almost like I'm disabled, but you made fun of it. Sorry.
Why doesn't somebody step to you? I don't understand how you kept your ass alive with the way you behave. You went after...
How am I alive?
Somebody just asked me, could you touch on what you said about Phil's original charges? I swear I heard you say...
How am I still here, guys?
Misdemeanor. I'm sure he did plead it down to a lesser charge. Misdemeanor might be what it was. It might have been a smaller felony. Here's what it was. It's been a long time since I've watched Phil's show. But
we're going to have to go over this line by line. All I did to Kenneth Woody was tell him to leave me the fuck alone and get the fuck away from me. I know he played it up after that, tried to get a free camper, claimed that he was a victim of the storm, and he was going to take his vengeance and packed all his pot-smoking shit up in a box and buried it in the woods. But I didn't do none of that.
Prosecutors always overcharge. They charge you with the moon and the stars so that they can plead you down to what they really think they can convict you of. It's a
yeah, that's it.
Trying to convict you of something that you...
This guy's defending Phil.
They do, because that's the way prosecutors are. They want the win.
Says he was just sexting that girl.
But they offered him lesser charges because they couldn't prove that he actually had sex with this 16-year-old girl because she kept recanting. So she continually changed the subject. Look, Phil screwed up, and I'm not promoting what he did as being right. He was sexting with a teenager.
Okay.
He was a coach at a high school. His star player, as he puts it, committed suicide. The girl was his star player's girlfriend. Phil claims
Thank you, Bert.
Befriended her because she was so sad and he wanted to help her get over it. And he said he took it too far and got carried away. Well, if you were sexting with my teenage daughter, I'd be digging a hole for your ass.
You don't have a teenage daughter, and you basically don't have a son.
I don't know how you survived not getting the hell beat out of you for that. But that being said, I believe the charge he pled down to was it's like a delinquency thing out here is what they would call it. Corruption of a minor, I believe, is what they called the charge that he pled to.
It's like delinquency out here. It's just delinquency.
And he did some time. I think he did 6 months for that. I'm not sure that that's what he did time for, though. He did some time for, I think, a fraud check or something.
He claims that BD's boyfriend was his star player and committed suicide, and that's why they were close. Like, he doesn't know anything about the story. He's lied about every bit of it.
He claims it.
And then he claims that I don't know what I'm talking about. I just Google it. You could have at least Googled it. It gave you more details than this.
That prison sentence is what turned him around and made him smart enough to become a millionaire. And what he did was he got in multi-level marketing with you guys, and he got his audience. Listen, he's a millionaire now.
Surely not.
He almost destroys him. And asked me a few months ago, right when this whole Will Burt thing came out. I'm thinking to myself, Will Burt attacks Phil Godleski, almost destroys him. And I was one of the only guys, one of the only podcasters that kept defending Phil and saying he didn't get convicted of being a pedophile because everybody kept calling him a pedophile.
But he did. And the judge has actually said he's no longer legally allowed to say he didn't sleep with her.
Said, I don't like what he did, but he didn't get convicted of being a pedophile. So I defended him on that. I also happen to be very interested in the flat earth theory. And so is he. And I thought we would have a connection over that. So we don't agree.
The flat earther, got it.
But we could have hours and hours of conversation about flat earth. And I thought, see, I come from a school where I don't have to agree with everything. I've got liberal friends. When I came out for Donald Trump, I lost the bar.
Tons of liberal friends.
That Hillary Clinton is ever going to get elected president. Oh, you're crazy. Who's going to beat her? I said, whoever runs against her. And at the time, Donald Trump hadn't even come down the escalator yet. And he got so mad, so I made a bet with him. In Las Vegas, you pay your bets. I made a bet with him. He made the bet, shook my hand right there in front of everybody. When Hillary Clinton lost, I called him up. Hey, I'll meet you at the bar tomorrow night. Don't get my $100. F you. I would never give you $1. If that piece of shit, Donald Trump is our president, you go screw yourself. And text messages, got it. Still got them. And all the others, and there were a couple guys in that group that I'm still friends with, but like me, they stopped hanging in that group because they're not welcome anymore. The libtards are bad. The QAnon people are worse than the libtards. If you go against Q, the QAnon people will hate your guts forever because they're in it's a cult. So, Australian, 1917, Australia is laughing at you.
Australia is laughing at you.
The rubbish you're spewing. What drugs are you on? Where is my Terminator? Terminator, text me and let me know you took these people out. I'm not spewing any lies. I'm telling the truth. I've been to Australia a few times, and the folks in Australia really like me. I did very well there. not concerned about your opinion, Mr. Australian.
Sounds like it. That's why you addressed it 4 times.
So, Crazy Goose, I'm having to repeat what happened last night because
thank God
deleted last night's show.
Accidentally.
Terminator said, long gone. So there's only 60 people or so watching the show tonight. I had to come back on to set the record straight because I lost that episode. I probably haven't been nearly as good at it tonight as I was last night because I'm exhausted. But
had an emergency.
To the point, Karen Roark should not be taken seriously by anyone. Karen Kelly Roark is a liar. I cannot believe that Brad Barton allows Karen Kelly Roark to be involved in his events and take the tickets and collect money and all that other stuff for him while she's over here in Will Bird's room.
How is that possible?
Recruiting all of these clowns that listen to him to her
just resubscribed for
thank you, Q Idiot.
Facebook page and all the other stuff she does.
Almost. No, Bart, you equally suck. Thank you very much.
Was explaining how this Q streaming thing that he got into.
Oh, my God. You're going to retell this story, too? All right, guys. I got to get up early in the morning. Sorry. We'll have to cover Bart some other time. Thank you, guys, for joining us. Thank you for being here tonight. I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the subscriptions, the donations. If you want to support the show, if you're interested in it, Phil is Phil Godlewski. It's a whole thing I used to cover, but he's not. He just doesn't do a whole lot anymore. But we'll be recapping it soon, I'm sure. And if you're around, you'll see it. Phil Godlewski is a big QAnon influencer, and he was basically papers came out and said this Q guy says save the kids, but he had sex with a 15-year-old when he was a high school baseball coach. So it's a big deal. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm out. Love you. See you. Bye. Thank you, Bert, for helping me out with my disability. I can't believe you made that phone call and changed everything for me. Love you. See you. Bye. Have a good night. Support the show while we're offline at coldbeer.fun. Consider supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. We're still not above water, but we're doing better.
You don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork.
We're not down to one sock, okay? But we're not rolling into money either, okay? Have a good night. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. That makes sense. The women are the worst with foul language anymore. The women. Have a good night, guys. Love you, see you, bye.